Hey guys, what's going on? I came to reach out to you, talk about the regular season of our league. Oh, what was that? Nemo missed the playoffs again? Ha! What a shock, right? It's only been 6 straight years of nothing but toilet bowl dominations for him. He's got his own dynasty, and I'll talk more about that later. So we got 6 people to make the playoffs every year. It's very hard to make it, as you can ask Nemo. We have 5 years now going, or no, this will be our sixth. Excuse me. So he's missed the playoffs for 6 years. Just to talk about that one more time. No jabs intended. Anyways, we have 5 champions. Nobody's won it twice. This is the 6th year. This year we have 3 people that have won it at least once in the mix to win it again. So we have a potential back-to-back champion in Rachel Chambers, who won it just last year, Rachel Bales. We have Matt Lisle, who won it in 2023. We have JC Daggs, who won it in 2021, and they all want that trophy back. Every one of them. Well, let's go talk about the regular season, will we? We're moving on to our first loser, which is Matthew Nimatello. He's 4-10 this year. He has never made the playoffs, and this will be the 6th year. So we need to figure out, let's break down his team and kind of see what's going on. Okay, so he drafted Jonathan Taylor, first overall pick. He had 3 weeks missed, finished at running back 25 overall. I mean, averaged 13.5 points a game. Still pretty good. Travis Etienne, second overall pick. Running back 38, he's cooked, 7 points a game average. I mean, not what you wanted with your second pick. Michael Pittman, I think it was his 4th pick. He finished 54 overall. We just thought that offense was going to be different this year, and that's a miss. Your 3rd pick, I skipped for some reason. Malik Neighbors has been phenomenal. Awesome. Everybody's wanted him on his team. Christian Kirk broke his collarbone. Sucks. That's a good player. Waiver wire options are waiver wire. Your sleeper, rookie, nope. Keepers, your keeper options. Matthew's keeper options this year are Jerry Jeudy, 10 overall, receiver. James Winston's been cooking. And then your other option is Jameson Williams, who is 32nd overall. Matthew's got a great presence in the toilet bowl. This guy dominates. I mean, that's a dynasty that I don't think will ever be broken. I mean, he's got nothing on the Golden State Warriors. Got nothing on Nemo right now in the toilet bowl. So, moving on to our next person. Okay, our next worst team in the league was Kasey Bales with a whopping 5-9 record. Shocking. He's got like one of the best teams in the league. If you just go down the list, you're like, man, this has got to be the best team. No, second worst team. Besides Matthew Nimatello's historic tanking of redraft. Anyways, he's got Kyron Williams, running back 7, Alvin Kamara, running back 5, Michael Thomas, wide receiver 9, Mooney 13, Addison 16, Mike Evans 30, Tyreek Hill 15, Hawk Tua, who was averaging 19 points a game, but he missed some time due to some Tua-ness. Did I mention Zay Flowers and Travis Kelce? Yeah. Holy shit, we're good. His keeper options next year are Bryan Thomas, who finished as wide receiver 9 during the regular season. Even with his quarterback out, he still showed he can play with Mac Jones throwing him the rock. So, that guy's probably pretty dominant. Drake May is also another option, but, Anyways, we're going to go look at the score really quick. Kasey had 1,559 points scored on him, the second highest in the league, and JC Daggs, luckiest player in the league, had 1,337 points scored. So that just shows you how points scored can really affect your draft position or your player position at second worst in the league to third best in the league. Historically, Kasey has actually leading the league in worst win-loss ratio. He is dead last with a record of 15-26. Kasey, next year you got to figure out what is going on. You had the best team, and you still had the worst record. We got to get that figured out. Moving on to the next guy. Okay, Next, we're moving on to another person that didn't make the playoffs this year. In Mama Champ, Kayla Chisum, 6-8. She scored 1,390 points and then had 1,416 points scored on her. If you kind of look at her team, it's you can kind of see where her woes were, where she went to the playoffs or missed the playoffs. She had Stephon Diggs injury, and he was cooking. She had Isaiah Pacheco break his leg. Thielen, who has been pretty good when he's in, missed substantial time as well. She drafted Odunze pretty early, and he had a lot of competition in that league, so there's no telling what he was going to be. But she drafted stars like George Kittle, Justin Jefferson, Joe Burrow, that helped her team win. But Mama Champ hasn't won a chip since the first year in the league in 2019 when she slaughtered the competition. And now she's kind of in a drought right now. So you need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what you did in 2019 to get the W. You have historically the second worst overall win-loss score in the league, 16-25. So we need to figure out what's going on there and better luck next year. But Kayla, you have a bright spot next year. Odunze is your best keeper option, and there's no telling what his future will be next year. But he's a great option. He's a good receiver. Moving on to the next person. But he's a great option. He's a good receiver. Moving on to the next person. Okay, so we're here to talk about Andrew Drewski Cock. He has missed the playoffs again this year. He has taken home the trophy once. He had the most points scored against him this year. He had a horrible 0-4 start as he's trying to work the waiver wire to find out what his team could do. He finished 6-8 though, so it was a pretty good comeback. His team started getting pretty hot second half of the year. Some stars on his team were Saquon Barkley, the #1 running back, the back hurdle. That guy was a superstar. You had Baker Mayfield, 5th quarterback overall this year. You had DJ Moore, you had DK Metcalf. Bucky Irving has been a pretty bright spot on that Browns offense. Garrett Wilson is the top 8 wide receiver this year. He was #1 there for a while. Jacoby Myers isn't too bad either. Tony Pollard. So some stats I saw was that Andrew has historically scored the most points out of anybody in the league, and he has the second most points scored against him, only trailing Nemo by 9 points. So this is a pretty good manager of his team, and he's been consistently good. And this year he just didn't have it done. Okay, next on the list is Bryan Vaughn, finishing 6-8 this year. He scored 1,553 points, and points against was 1,516. Both very good. Points against is a bummer because, again, JC was in the 1,200 range. So not everybody can have that luck this year. Bryan had some bright spots on his roster. He had Jaden Daniels this year. He finished Jaden Daniels quarterback 6 at the moment. Way better than the year he drafted Trey Lance and Justin Fields, who didn't play. So I'm glad that this rookie worked out for you. Bryan also drafted Jackson Smith-Njigba, who right now is wide receiver 6 overall. And he hasn't been that all year, but man, he has been hot. Again, Bryan has McBride, tight end 3, CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 4, Drake London, wide receiver 7. He has Cooper Kupp, who missed 4 weeks and is still wide receiver 20. Bryan's, I think, weakness this year when he drafted was at running back. And Aaron Jones has been pretty good for him. And Dobbins, I think, was good, but he went down a couple weeks ago. He finished at, running back 21. And then Tyrone Tracy kind of came out of nowhere and won the job, so Bryan was able to capitalize on that as well. Bryan's keepers, I think, for next year look tremendous. He's got Jackson Smith-Njigba, Jaden Daniels, Tyrone Tracy, J.K. Dobbins. So looking for the next year, Bryan's going to be sitting pretty. So lead the leagues in transitions as well, transactions. So keep staying active, one of our more active players. 2025 could be your year, Bryan. Our next manager is Brandon Feeback, finishing 7-7. Brandon was just on the cusp of making the playoffs this year. He really needed Nico Collins to not be on a bye last week, or he probably would have made it. This guy has had some problems this year with drafting CMC 101. I don't know what CMC has against Brandon Feeback, but he's drafted him 2 years, and CMC has scored like 0 points both of those years. Brandon, as a historic team, has got a 53% win rate, which is third in the league over our 6-year span. He had players on his roster this year: Patrick Mahomes, James Conner, Chase Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, Jonnu Smith, who was cooking. Chuba Hubbard is a late-round flyer that no one really grabbed. And look, man, what a league winner he could have been for you if you just had your players healthy. Amari Cooper as well on a trade. This guy had a great team. He scored 409 points and had more defensive score against him at 477, so he was negative there. This guy, you thought he had it. You thought he was going to make it. And just some bad luck. So better luck next year. You got some good keepers as Chuba Hubbard, Jonnu Smith, Chase Brown, I think is a keeper as well. I'd have to check on that. But you got good options this year. Better luck next year. Let's try again. Okay, guys, so now we're moving on to the people that matter. Our first person to make the playoffs with the number 6 seed is Matt Noble. He went 7-7 this year. He scored 1488 and had 1491 scored on him. So he was able to win even though he had more points scored on him than scored. Let's talk about this guy's success. Okay. He had Josh Jacobs on his team with a 16.5 point average, 6 running back overall. This guy was an absolute beast this year in Green Bay. Changed the dynamic of that team. Jamar Chase, wide receiver 1, averaging 21 points a game, just downright incredible. Had a letdown in Kincaid. Kincaid finishes tight end 6. He just wasn't what we thought. He's still young and still working things out with Josh Allen. Josh Allen's just scoring all the points and not sharing very well. Keenan Allen was another letdown, but he had George Pickens, wide receiver 25, Joe Mixon, running back 9. He's missed, I think, 3 games, but man, that guy has averaged 20 points a game. CJ Stroud, Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So he's pretty dominant. Matt's win-loss is 19-23, so he's been kind of one of the bottom. He's bottom 4 in the league the last 2 years. Last year he was 4-10, so it was really cool to see him kind of put it together and break that milestone. So good luck in the playoffs, Matt. You're going to need it. Okay, next on the list in 5th place in the 5th seed is last year's former champion, Rachel Bales. She finished 7-7. She squeaked in the playoffs with a 15.58 total score and a 15.28 points scored against. Again, she's the former champ. In the league, she's 54% win-loss with 23-19. She's ranks 5th overall out of 12. Okay, let's get on to her players. Her player, Josh Allen, is the number 2 ranked quarterback this year. He just got done with a 6-point touchdown game with scoring 54 total fantasy points to help boost her into the playoff race. She's got David Montgomery, top 10 running back, and everybody wants the Lions' assets. I mean, they're just incredible. Devin A-Chain, guy, he's a menace out there. You give him space, and that guy's gone. He's usually averaging 7 yards a carry. It's incredible with Tua there. Then you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, the number 3 wide receiver overall, her first-round pick. The people who picked, Christian McCaffrey are really regretting it, and Tyreek Hill, when Amon-Ra was right there. She's got Ladd McConkey, rookie phenom, who has came on kind of slow, and he's starting to really pick it up. He's going to be a good keeper option for her next year. Then she's also got Mark Andrews, number 7th ranked tight end, who was irrelevant for the first 5 weeks, and now they're giving him the ball. He's cooking. She's got Hawkinson as well, keeper eligible. He's starting to get rolling too. And then she also has Xavier Legette, a rookie who that offense has struggled, but you can kind of see the talent there. So he could potentially break out back half of the year, maybe something next year. So she wants to win that trophy twice this year and bring it back home. Keep it home. So I wish you luck. Your first round is against me, so don't be too crazy. Okay, now it's about the commissioner of the league, which is me. I have 0 titles, 0. I've made a few finals appearances, but I have 0 wins. I'm top 4 in the league in win ratio, tied with Rachel. We're both 23 and 19. Some of my busts this year, Jonathan Brooks. My keeper was Sam Laporta. I would say he's been a bust because I expected top 5 production, and he's 14. Some of my hits, Terry McLaurin. I love Jaden Daniels. Thought he could throw the deep ball, so I was like, who's good at the deep ball? Terry McLaurin. I got Puka, kind of been riddled with injuries early on, but he's still putting up 16 points a game. Kenneth Walker's missed about 4 games. He's running back 23. He's averaging 15 points a game. Brees Hall, 16th ranked running back, 14 points a game. When my team's healthy, I could be a problem, but overall depth, I didn't nail that this year. Keepers, Bo Nix picked him off the waiver wire, 8th ranked quarterback. Chris Godwin, Matt Noble dropped him after drafting him in the 8th round, so I picked him up as a keeper option if he can make a full recovery next year. And then, again, Jonathan Brooks was a complete bust for me. So, anyways, guys, we're going to keep rolling here. Moving on to the next one. Now we're moving on to the upper echelon of teams. This is the top 3 team. This team had the lowest points scored on them this year and almost the lowest points scored total. So was there a little bit of luck? Yeah. But does every champion have a little luck? This one does. He's got 1 chip on his belt. He finished 9-5 this year. He had players like James Cook, who's a 13th ranked running back, missed 1 game. Bijan Robinson, 3rd ranked running back. He had Charbonnet, who has filled in for Kenneth Walker and been hot. He averages 10 points a game. Devontae Smith, he's missed 3 games. He's at wide receiver 39, but he's averaged 10 points a game. Jaden Reed, 11 points a game at 12th overall wide receiver. Keeper-wise, he's got Tucker Kraft, who has been pretty good, a top 6 tight end, and then Zach Charbonnet, who you never know what the offseason can handle. This guy, if he gets a full workload, Zach Charbonnet is going to crush it. He had Jordan Love, who I think missed 2 games and is still a top 15 quarterback, averaging 18 points a game. He had Tank Dell, who's been a kind of a bust this year. Chris Olave, another bust, and he battled through those and finished with the 3rd best record in the league. It's been pretty incredible. JC has historically been the 7th best in win-loss over the last few years. Pretty impressive. He's still makes the playoffs, baby. He has won both the Toilet Bowl trophy and the big first place trophy. So props to him. And keep chugging along, JC, you lucky son of a gun. Let's win another one to be the first player to win 2. We haven't had that yet. See what you got. Okay, guys, now we're up to Lightning Lisle. Matt has been a menace out there. He's got a 9-5 record, the number 2 seed. He's got a first-round bye. And some of the players that help him get the success were Lamar Jackson, quarterback 1, averaging 25 points a game. Derrick Henry, resurgence on a new team. Running back 2, averaging 19 points a game. Ramondre Stevenson, averaging 11.5 points. That's his flex. A.J. Brown. Shakir, Brock Bowers, the number 1 tight end, rookie superstar, averaging 12.5 points again as a tight end on a team that is awful. Cortland Sutton, who's the 11th ranked receiver. Matt's overall win-loss in the last few years now, he's the second best with a 59% win rate. He's 25-17. He's got the third total highest points in the league. He makes a lot of transactions. He's got good keepers next year, which are Shakir and Sutton. Those guys are both solid players this year for him. And as we know, Matt, he's just going to keep winning. Winning's in his blood. He's got ice in his veins. I don't know what it is, but he's got a great chance to win it all. He says he doesn't watch football yet. He's this dominant. There's no way. There's no way. This guy, son of a bitch. I wish I could be him. My God. Okay, guys. Now we're moving on to the champ himself, Kyle Chisum. He's got a 10-4 record. He's been absolutely dominant this year, crushing hopes and dreams. He's been really tapping into the K-Force as of late, and it's just incredible. Since Kyle's entered the league the last 2 years, he's been the absolute #1 win-loss ratio, with 29-13, just pure dominance. He's second in the league in points. He's also had some incredible luck. What I'm saying is the K-Force is real, and he's got the lowest points scored on him with 41-39. To put that in perspective, Nemo has over 4,500 points, and so does Andrew scored on him, so roughly a 400-point drop difference. Okay, let's go into the K-Force some more. In K-Force, he's got Jalen Hurts, who scored 22 points on average, 4th quarterback in the rankings. Jahmyr Gibbs, 4, 17 points a game. Najee Harris, 18, ranked running back, 12 points. T. Higgins, he's got an average of 14 points a game, but he's missed 5 games this year, trying to make that big contract. He got David Njoku, Marvin Harrison, Nick Chubb, Deebo Samuel, Zach Moss. K-Force is real, and he's trying to bring this one home. He's never won the chip yet, but he's been a dominant force since he's entered the league, and he is the league favorite. So to win it all this year, so it'd be interesting to see how it unfolds. K-Force, you got this. All right, guys, that's the end of my video. I can't believe you stayed this long. Thanks for listening to me talk, and you know what? 2024 has been a good year. I appreciate you guys.